Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Happy Tuesday Night Live. Let me know if you are in the chat where you're watching from. We're going to get this party started here real quick. There's already a bunch of people here, which is awesome. We are, a week and a half away from my next 100 miler, the Indiana Trail 100. So we're going to be talking all about that. But as always, most of the time, this YouTube Tuesday night live show is listener supported. So we go where you want to take it. So you ask the questions and we'll talk about what you want to talk about. Also, recently I've been putting everything, the last couple weeks I've been putting out on the podcast. So go ahead and check that out. If you aren't subscribed to the podcast, subscribe, download a couple episodes, listen to them on your runs. I'm going to start doing that every week. I've got my system down. So we'll talk about that more here in a second. But I think that's all I wanted to say for the intro. We'll be right back. All right, everybody. David Sachs is in the house. What's up from upstate New York? Will W's here. Baldwin, Missouri here. Welcome to race week, at least for me. Nice. Good luck to your race, Will. The family that runs. Schobert, watching from Terre Haute, Indiana. Nice. I have some friends that run in Terre Haute. Watching from Alabama, tapering for 100 miler next weekend. Awesome. What 100 miler are you running, Brent? That's pretty sweet. We got a new member of the channel, Alex Williams. If you guys see that notification up there. What's up, Alex? Thanks. Welcome to the channel. Hallow Art is here from Mansfield, Ohio. There you are, Alex. What's up from West Virginia? Jared Weisenhunt is watching from California. Awesome. Nicholas Carson's here from Montreal, trying my first 50K in 3 weeks. Oh, that's awesome. I feel like there's a lot of races going on right now. It feels like we are back. It feels like this is prime racing season right now, which is awesome. It's so exciting. It feels like there's a big, at least in the last couple months, really since June, it feels like there's been a big 100 miler every couple weeks, and then there's just tons of races. There's races every single weekend now, which is awesome. Chris Rhodes here from San Antonio. What's up? Wandering Clarity from Texas. How's it going? Justin's here. Hello from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Good to have good luck to a very busy ultra weekend. No Business, Arkansas Traveler, Hennepin 100. This weekend, especially here, it's not really Midwest, but kind of this area of the country. We do have No Business 100, which I did last year, which is awesome. Good luck to everyone running that race. It's actually one of the videos on my channel that is the most viewed video. It's not the most. It's maybe second or third or something. I don't know. That was an awesome race. Loved it. Did it crewless, pacerless, just on my own. Ran with Russell for a long time at the beginning. But that was great. And then Hennepin 100, I I know a couple people doing that race, which should be a fast one. And Arkansas Traveler is one that I have heard a lot of good things about. A couple people that have run a lot of hundreds have told me that Arkansas Traveler was one of their favorite ones. So that's pretty cool. Tim Watson, yes, podcast. Yeah. Yeah, just search. It's like everywhere. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Overcast. It's on Spotify. It's pretty much everywhere. Just search my name and it'll pop up. And like the big thing, so I'll say this for those of you listening on the podcast and listening to the live show here tonight, or if you're watching the YouTube replay, you can do that too. Actually, more people watch the replay than show up live, which is cool. Like it seems like throughout the week people catch it on different days, which is awesome. So now hopefully having it in podcast form will make it much easier for people to listen in, because now you can have it on your phone or headphones, like while you're running or whatever. Put it on like a iPod Touch or whatever the smallest thing is now that you can stick in your pocket and go run. But yeah, so the thing with it was I think I said this last week, but I kind of was holding the podcast like sort of like too preciously, I guess, is like the best way to describe it. Like I wanted it to be a certain way. I wanted it to feel like really polished. Like I had these like recorded intros and outros, and I wanted the content to be like, like just I wanted it to be different than the live show. Honestly, that's part of it too. But over the last couple weeks, I just have decided to get over it and just start uploading exactly what happens here. So that's what we're doing right now. We're recording it, and it will go up probably like tomorrow morning. For those of you, if you can't stick around and you want it in podcast form, check wherever you get your podcasts tomorrow morning. Stephen McNeil's here from Midland, Texas. What's up? Old Toad here from Southern Cali. Nice. Dave Lee's watching from Plymouth, Massachusetts. Tapering for a 100-miler on the 9th. Same day as me. Good luck on your 100-miler. Thank you. Yeah, the 9th. That's been circled on my calendar for a long time. Pretty much like, so I knew that I was going to do this race at this time last year, like probably even before. Like I had decided I was going to do IT 100 before I even decided I was going to do Cruel Jewel, which was in May of this year. So like maybe like a year and a half ago, I've been looking forward to this weekend, October 9th. Whew, it's almost here. We'll talk about how everything's going. Chris Williams says a podcast for the runs would be great. Awesome. Tim Watson from Sydney, Australia is here. Brent Riley is running the Canal Corridor 100 in Ohio. That's okay. I've heard of that one. I haven't looked into it or anything, but I have heard the name Canal Corridor 100. Carlos is here from Puerto Rico. What's up? Alex Williams, blessed to be here. Just trying to get back at it. Have a major PF flare up for 3 months. Oh man. Yeah. I feel you on that. Like I've been there. I'm there right now. And I'm really hoping that, like for myself, that taking this time with taper will help clear it up a little bit, but I feel you. Alex, so sorry about that. Plantar fasciitis is one of those things where, like, you don't really know why it happens. It kind of comes out of nowhere, and then it is so hard to get rid of. But yeah, we're working on it. Eduardo's here. What's up? Happy Tuesday, everyone. Stephen McNeil says he finished Arkansas Traveler 4 times. Great race. Nice. Wandering Clarity says, Tuesday typically is now my running night, so usually miss this live. Glad to hear listen to the podcast now while running. That's awesome. The last couple weeks, I've also been running on Tuesday nights, but earlier. and I know that everyone's watching from a different time zone. So I'm in Eastern United States time zone right now. So it's like 9 p.m. But I know for a lot of people, it's all over the place. But yeah. All right. So let's talk about like how my taper has been. And it's been really weird. I've never had a taper quite like this. But I've also never had a training cycle leading up to a taper quite like this. And it's kind of caught me off guard, like just how kind of like wrecked I still have kind of felt for this first week. So really, really glad I decided to do a 3-week taper. I think 2 weeks I would be freaking out right now if I was like 4 days away from my race. But I'm feeling good that it's about a week and a half away. So I'm okay with that. Yeah, like I actually kind of like felt sort of sick for a few days. Just like some weird stuff with like water retention was going on too. Like I noticed in my legs, especially, like my, just a little bit puffy. It kind of came and went throughout the week. Runs just felt like I had like cement in my legs. And I just, honestly, like running, getting used to over the last couple months of running like at least like maybe like 10 miles a day. These runs that have been like 4 or 5 miles I haven't even barely felt like I've been warming up. I felt like, I get to about 3.5 miles or so, and I finally feel like I can kind of like catch my stride at that point. And by that time, the run is almost over. So it's been like physically tough, but also like mentally, it's been rough because I just haven't really felt like I've been running well. So yeah, I'm also trying to run more on grass, which is like one of my least favorite. I know a lot of people come from like cross country backgrounds, but I don't. And so running on grass is kind of like it's my least favorite because it's so hard for me to like predict like how my foot is going to fall and where it's going to land. Like running on pavement, running on dirt trails, it's like you can see where your foot is falling and you can like, I just have a really good feel for that. Running on grass, I'm just not as experienced. And so I'm trying to do a lot more of that over the last couple weeks because quite a few portions of this race course is grass. It's like, it feels like a cross country course for a lot of it. If you've seen my last couple videos, where I've been, kind of like previewing the course, just running the course. You've seen it's like there's a lot of grass in it. So I've been doing some of that, and that just like it doesn't feel great during training, especially during these like shorter days where I'm just out for like 4 or 5 miles. And like I said, it takes 3 or so to feel like I've really warmed up. But yeah. I Love Jogging says, did you trigger point therapy this week? No, I did not. I need to look that up and do it. It's not a quick fix, so give it some time. That's good. I'm gonna make a note to myself right now, to look up trigger point therapy. So thank you very much, for reminding me of that. Let's see. What else we got here? Martin Clark says, what is your cardiovascular versus muscular recovery time post-race on a 100-miler? Let's see here. Cardiovascular versus muscular recovery time post-race. Okay, so that's kind of difficult to answer exactly because I'll say it depends. It depends on the race, 100%. But then it also I'm not really pushing myself. So I can't, it's not like I don't have, this wouldn't like stand up in a like scientific paper or anything like that. But in my experience, like my cardio, like we're talking comes back probably maybe about 2 weeks or so. I'm feeling like I can, like everything is like working properly again after about 2 weeks, but really not maybe like 3 weeks or maybe a little bit more before I really feel like it's like kind of like back to where I was before the race. And then muscular recovery time could take longer than that to really feel really good. Like I said, you can start, like I start running again typically after about a week and a half. I'll go on like just a quick, maybe like a week out from the race, I'll do a short run just to see how I feel. And then I'll wait a couple days, do another short run. And then maybe 2 weeks out, I'll kind of start putting together like more of like a routine. But I really don't feel good again until maybe about 3 weeks out, both cardio and muscular. But it really depends on the race because like coming back from something like Cruel Jewel took a little bit more time because of how much climbing and descending there was. Like that really beat up my quads. It really beat up my feet. It beat up everything, honestly. But yeah, that took more time. Like I remember, so that was in the middle of May, and then I really didn't get a whole lot of good solid training in before coming back and pacing at Western States, which was like almost 6 weeks later. Like if I remember right, and we could probably just like pull up my calendar, my training peaks. But I probably took about 4 weeks of pretty solid like downtime after Cruel Jewel because my legs just were not feeling good. Like they were just for running. Like they're fine for walking around daily life. Like I was back to normal after a week and a half maybe. But for running, like I could just tell that there was still, I was still recovering after that for quite a while. Something like No Business or like some of the other, like one of the other, like Hallucination or something like that, with much less climbing and descending, bounce back quicker. But yeah, I would say definitely like, I mean, unless you're really experienced and you know like how your body like bounces back, then you're not taking this advice. So you shouldn't be listening because you're more experienced than I am. But if you're like looking at maybe your first 100 or something like that, and like looking at your training plan and seeing like timing out your schedule and everything, I wouldn't count on getting back to training until about like maybe 3 or 4 weeks after you're 100. So that's just my advice. I mean, just let your body recover. Like you went through a massive like traumatic event. Chris Williams says, have you decided on going with Brooks for race day yet? No, actually I need to upload a couple videos because I'm about a week behind right now on videos, because last weekend I did my 22-mile run on Saturday of last weekend. I ran in the North Face Flight Vective, and I really liked those a lot. So I also got the rest of the lineup. So I have the Flight Infinite and the Endurus. And for some reason, like North Face, just like they really work from my foot. I really like the rocker. I like the plate design. Some people like really don't like them. I like the moment I put on the North Face Flight Vective, which is their carbon plate shoe, it felt like it was made for my foot. Aside from a few little things that I think I've been able to break in. It really felt like it was made for me. And I haven't had that feeling in a trail shoe in a while. So right now the plan is to go with like the North Face lineup, just bring them all, probably start in the Flight Vective, which is the carbon plate one, and then have the others as backups. And definitely, like, if my feet are really feeling banged up or my body's just like not doing great, like switching to the Endurus, which is like their max cushion. But I kind of want to stick with, that's kind of what I want to do. Like I could go back to Nike and do like the Pegasus Trail or the Wild Horse, because I know that those work because I've done a ton of miles in those. But the North Face just really feel like they're calling to me on this race. So good question. Brent Riley says, which watch, the Garmin 945 LTE or the Phoenix 6X Solar? I like the accuracy and lightweight of the 945, but might have to charge it during 100. Phoenix 6X battery is much better. Yeah. The thing I would say to that is like, so battery life, it's really great not having to charge your watch during 100, but it's also not a big deal. And it's just one thing that you do have to worry about. But honestly, if you get one of those little USB chargers and your cord and you put it in a drop bag somewhere around like the 50 or 60 mile mark, and you plug it in and you tuck the charger in a pocket and you just go for a couple miles. Honestly, these watches charge so fast nowadays that you could probably just have it like plugged in for like 2 hours or something, and it would get you enough battery to almost recharge back to 100%. But what I used to do before I had watches that lasted the whole time was just that: take a USB battery, like get a small one that's you want to kind of be careful. You want one that has a decent power output so it can charge quickly. If you get some of like the really cheap small ones, they have a much lower power output, so it'll charge slower. But if you just get one made by someone, like all my USB batteries are made by Anchor. I've got a bunch of them that I just have around that I just use randomly for everything, and take camping, anytime I'm in a hotel. Like I just make sure that I bring a couple of them just in case like the wall outlets are not, don't work or something, like I just want to know for a fact that I'm going to be able to charge my stuff, especially with camera stuff. So anyway, yeah, just get like a small USB charger, bring your cable, throw it in a drop bag, and then just charge it for an hour or two while you're running. And once you start to get annoyed with it, just throw it back in your pack, and your watch will probably be like pretty close to 100% anyway. So that's my thing about charging. It's great if your battery can last the whole time, but it's also not a huge deal if it doesn't. All Garmin's, I know, they won't stop the activity if you plug it in and start charging it. I don't think any brands do anymore. There was that concern like a long time ago. There were some brands where as soon as you plug it in, if there was an activity going, it would stop the activity. But that doesn't happen anymore. But just test it. So that's what I would say. And so Brent, to answer your question, I would go with the 945 LTE because it is smaller and lighter. And the only time that you're really going to need that extra battery life is during a 100-miler. The rest of the time, and your 945 might last the whole time anyway. I think that's got like a 40-hour time advertised on it. Old Toad asks, what are the side effects related to your cardio after a 100-miler? So for me, it's just kind of like shortness of breath while running. Like it's just like you can just feel that it's fatigued. Nothing really much more than that. Slightly higher heart rate. But yeah, it's just you just want to be careful with that if you're not experienced, because you really did go through a pretty crazy event. Brian says, I ran a marathon 2 weeks after hallucination. No problems for me. Nice. And so that's what I'm talking about. Like, so Brian is really experienced. Like, he's done a lot of these. So you can, like, Brian knows his body and can bounce back. So he's not someone I'm giving advice to right now. But if you're just starting out, I would just say take it easy for a couple weeks. Just listen to your body. By 2 weeks, you'll be able to start running again for sure. That always happens to me. About a week and a half after I start going for runs every few days. Platts 33 is checking in from Illinois. Hennepin 100 on Saturday. So excited. Nice. That's awesome. Hennepin, that looks like a good race to go and have like really good support there. I just watched a video the other day, like while I was eating lunch. I forget who it was by, but it didn't have very many views, but it was made really well. Just kind of like a little short documentary on the race. And it's, looks like a good race. Aaron Wagner says, good evening, sir. Taper is here. I accidentally ran a quick 10-miler today. I need to calm down and really taper with easy runs, but I'm so excited. Yeah. I hear you too. Today was a day that I wanted to run longer too, but I just did 4 miles and was just like, that's it. Like there's nothing I can do right now that will increase my fitness as far as running goes. Like the only thing I can do is rest and recover right now. Aaron also says, also wanted to ask how I contact you about the preferred GoPro settings for filming during a race. I picked up a shorty stick, nice, and have taken it out for a couple practice runs. Awesome. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll reply back with the settings. That are kind of the most important to me, but I'm also, I also have like part of a video filmed on that I can try and finish up this week too, maybe. And also it's not like settings that are like right or wrong. It's just the settings that I use. So if you like my videos, then, the settings that I use will probably benefit you. You'll like them too, probably. Alex Williams says, did you ever struggle with plantar fasciitis when you're strictly with ultras? I have seen some people say that zero drop helps, but then other sites say the opposite. Yeah. So this is a question that I get probably almost every other day, I would say, in a YouTube comment or like Instagram or a DM or Twitter or something like that. And I think the reason why is because there's a lot of, I don't know if it's like misinformation or if it's just like there was a marketing strategy years ago that Ultra did. And I don't blame them. But there's an idea out there that ultras, are like their run naturally sort of like tagline and everything, that they heal injuries. There's a lot of that out there that I just don't. I never really liked it when I was with Ultra, and I have to say that I don't completely agree with it now. I mean, running is running. Like if you're going to get injured, you're going to get injured. The shoe you're wearing can exaggerate certain things and cause problems with some people. But it's not like switching to Ultra isn't going to like solve injury problems. And the first time I had plantar fasciitis, I had it for 2 years while I was wearing Ultras. So for me, it wasn't something that, like I got plantar fasciitis while I wore Ultras. And I think, just from what I know about it, it has to do with a lot of things. It's not just the style of shoe you wear. And for me, it probably happens when I jump up, when I increase my training too much, or I do a specific workout that included maybe like hill reps or maybe I was just out running and I like attacked a few hills like way too aggressively than I was ready for. And I like got an injury. Like that's how it happens for me, I think. I think that's how I got it the second time too. It was because after Cruel Jewel, I took, like I said, my typical week to week and a half off. And I think that first run back, I was probably just like super excited and probably just went out too fast. And maybe I didn't warm up enough. You know, maybe I actually did do some damage and injure it during Cruel Jewel, but I just didn't know it in the race because so much else hurt too. But yeah, I don't think that ultras, or any shoe for that matter, can, totally prevent certain types of injuries or make them worse. I think everyone is super individual, and I don't think there's like a blanket thing that we can put out there and say that, you know, like I would love to do a study or read a study. I probably wouldn't want to do it, but just like survey people who have had all different types of injuries and what types of shoes they wear. And I bet you'd find that the results are just kind of like inconclusive, that like it's just all over the place. So I don't think for me, it didn't matter whether I was wearing Ultras or Nike or Saucony or anything else. I got it with Ultra and with others. So I think the zero drop can help some people though. And I think the main people that it helps, that I've heard like actual real stories of people that like I trust, some types of knee problems and back problems, I think zero drop definitely can do a lot of good in that area. But I would definitely say talk to a doctor, talk to a foot specialist or some sort of like physical therapist or something like that before you really start investing a lot of money into things and trying different things, because you could make it worse too. So that's where I'll say to that. Maybe I'll bookmark this later, come back and make a video on that some other time. But Ultra Dad, what's up? How's it going? Evening. Did you see the leaks of the DJI Osmo Action 2? Pretty cool. Rest up and enjoy the taper. Yeah, I did see a picture of it, and it looked pretty cool, like a little cube or something. GoPro had something like that a while ago. I can't remember what it was called. Yeah, and Ultra Dad's going to be there helping me out at the IT 100. Very excited. Going to bring some cameras and pace. Very excited for this. So, yeah, we need to talk about plans actually soon. Eric says, it's talking about the Garmin 945 GPS mode without music up to 36 hours. So yeah, your Garmin 945 should be able to last most people, most 100 milers. But I mean, I would still pack a charger, because I did, what was it? The Mohican 100. And I was wearing my Suunto 9 Barrow, which at the time was brand new. Suunto's top of the line watch. And it was, I forget what it was advertised at. I think it was advertised to be like 28 hours of GPS on time or something like that. And it died at like the 18-hour mark. And I was very disappointed. Wish I would have had my charger during that race. Zach Fairchild says, have you ever run a trail 100 and not fallen down on the trail? Yeah. I'm trying to think. I normally don't fall very much. Fingers crossed, whatever, knock on wood, whatever you have to do. But there was one time I fell really bad at the Mohican 100, and I tore cartilage in my ankle, which was one of the worst injuries I've had running. Actually, probably the worst running injury. Now that I can't remember all of them, I guess, but yeah, that was probably the worst running injury. But yeah, a lot of races I never fall. Chris Rhodes says, do you still run an ultras at any time? Why or why not? Answer to that is no. And I would if ultra send me some shoes, I definitely would. But the reason why I don't is because, switching to zero drop, like you have to kind of take care in how you do that. And you kind of have to introduce yourself back to that like zero drop. It's much easier to switch away because you are putting less stress on like your Achilles and calf and everything. But when you are moving to ultras, you're actually lengthening that chain, and that can put some added stress on it. So I don't have any ultras like in my current rotation. I actually wear ultras all the time casually. I should say that. I should always let people know that, because I love the Torin plush. I wear that all the time. I have some Escalantes I wear all the time. I have some Ultra slip-on shoes that I wear all the time. Solstice. Yeah, I've got probably 4 or 5 different pairs of Ultras that I wear casually all the time. Love them, but not for running right now because it's more difficult. You put extra strain on your Achilles and everything when you are going from something like a Hoka, even like a 4 or 5 millimeter drop, but definitely like a Nike, like up to 10 millimeter drop, when you're lengthening your chain, putting a lot more stress on those areas. Aaron Wagner says, about IT100, do you have an A, B, or C goal? I know you're shooting for sub 24, but are they more specific than that? Yeah. So for me, for the IT100, and like this is kind of where I'm coming from, is that I feel like this is my first 100 again. Like I have no idea where my expectations should even be, because I've never been this trained for a race of this kind, meaning a very runnable course. So I don't know. Like I've done several runnable courses, but I haven't been this well trained. So from looking at kind of some of the workouts I've been doing over the last couple of months and the few training runs I've done up there, I think that I can. My A goal truly is sub 24. B goal is to finish. I don't really have a C goal. But sub 24 is like, that's what I've been shooting for like, that's what I've been aiming for the last year. That's been in my head. If for some reason, like I find out at like, if I get to like 50 miles and I'm going quicker than that pace, like maybe I'll adjust like halfway and see like, oh, like, can I do, like sub 22 or sub 20? Like, but I don't even like, I hate even like saying that because I don't even know, like I don't know like what's possible, honestly. So I think I can, like I've said in my most recent podcast, I think that I can do the first lap in right around 5 hours or less. So they're 25-mile laps. I think I can do the first lap in 5 hours or less because the last couple of training runs I've done up there have been quicker than that. Like it was like 4 hours and 20 minutes and 4 hours and 40 minutes. So I think I can be somewhere around like 4:40, something like that. Maybe closer to 5 if I'm taking my time during that first lap. And then the second lap that'll be the one where I really start to figure out, like, the race will start materializing there and what my finish might be. Because if I come in that second lap and I'm again like right around 5 hours or under, and at this point we're halfway into the race and it's like I'm at like 10 hours, like that could be a situation where depending on how I'm feeling, I could change my goals and say, well, maybe we're shooting for sub 22 now, or whatever. But if that second lap, if I start having problems or it's raining, like different, like weather is changing, something like that, and that's like a 6 hour lap or something, 7 hour lap, and I'm, then it's like, okay, like this is definitely we're going for sub 24. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking. Just get through the first 2 laps and then figure out what I'm going to do for the second half of the race. But yeah. John Truelove. Hey Ryan, long-time listener, first-time poster. John says, I have a couple of guys that want to beat me at IT 100. Should I pace them along to that sub 20 hour finish, or just crush them and leave them to die? Shad and Ryan. Yeah, so this is good healthy competition right here. So John's definitely going for sub 20. I don't know. We'll see. I think I'm going to let you go at the beginning, and then the whole race I'm just going to try and catch you. And I'll let you just have that in the back of your mind for the whole race. That I'm coming. I'm coming, John. Yeah. This is going to be fun. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Alex Williams says, thanks for the insight. I really value your opinion, Ryan. Thank you. Robert White says, what % hiking do you do on a 100-miler? That really depends on the course. But typically a lot more than you would think. Especially if it's a mountainous course, like Cruel Jewel, it was, oh gosh, I don't even know. Like every single uphill was hiking. Like there was no running. And then a lot of the rest of it too was hiking, because you're just so trashed from all of the up and downhill. So it just really depends. And honestly, yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to tell. Like, so for something like No Business, which was more of like a moderate race, I would say 15. It advertises 15,000 feet of gain. I think I had like 13 on my watch when I was done. It was probably somewhere around like, oh, I don't know, maybe like all the uphills were hiked, all the downhills were ran, and then probably like, 75% or 60% of the flats were run. So yeah, you just do what you can. Eric says, Sunto, Last of the Mohicans. Yeah, it definitely did not survive. Eric says, Lone Peak 5 is my walking shoe and not on the trail. Nice, that's a good shoe. John says, Ryan's not a real trail runner. Failing is a must qualification for trail runner. Okay, falling. LO, just kidding. No, seriously, if you're running hard, you will fall. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I just don't run hard. But no, I've fallen in training quite a bit. I just, for some reason, I don't really remember falling a whole lot in races, except for a few bad ones. I did fall at Grindstone. I remember that. I kind of like hit my knee on a rock and was kind of worried. That was right at the beginning. All right, let's see who else we got here. So Aaron Wagner says some 100-mile veterans that I did some trail work with this weekend gave me confidence to set an A goal of 22 hours, B goal of 24, C goal to finish. Yeah, that's great. That's really good. Nice. John says, stay with me or fail. Oh, man, this is going to be so fun. I seriously can't wait. This race is going to be like there's going to be so many people there that we all know. It's like the hometown race for those of us that live here in Indiana. And then there's going to be a lot of people from the Midwest. Oh, they announced bib numbers today. I am number 32, which is going to be cool. I don't think I've ever had a bib number under 100 for a 100-miler, but they did it alphabetically, so I just ended up with like a low number. But yeah, that was cool. Like that, every time I see like my bib number online, because like usually races will post that ahead of time, like that really, I don't know, like you start to get really nervous at that point. You're like, oh my gosh, this is real. Like I don't know why, but seeing what number I'm going to be is like, okay, let's go. Joshua Shively says, do you know of any other running shoes with large toe box like Ultras have? I'm indifferent about zero drop, but need the space for my fat feet. Yeah. Try Topo. Those are going to help out. And then also like some Nikes have pretty wide toe boxes. They don't really like advertise that, but I feel like some of them do. Not so much the road running shoes, but like the Wild Horse, they felt pretty wide to me. So I'll just try them out. Messing with Zach Squatch says, love this channel. Question for you. Just finished Grindstone last week and I'm looking at signing up for Cruel Jewel. Nice. I see you've run both. Which did you find more difficult? Cruel Jewel is way harder. Like way harder. Like they were both very hard, both deserving of their hard rock status, but Cruel Jewel it was like 10,000 extra feet of gain and descent. That's a whole lot. The trail and like the footing and everything is better at Cruel Jewel. Like there's more dirt to the trail, whereas Grindstone, there's a lot of parts that are just rocks. But yeah, Cruel Jewel, you get some more views, which is nice. Grindstone, what I remember from it was just a green tunnel until you get to the turnaround point, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can see stuff. And then you turn around and go back into the green tunnel. So that was hard. Grindstone was also really hard because it started at 6 p.m. But honestly, Cruel Jewel started at noon, so I got 2 nights out of both races. But yeah, I was definitely, so Grindstone was my first 100 and I finished that in 34 hours, and Cruel Jewel was my 7th attempt, 5th finish, and probably one of the ones I was best trained for, specifically for the race, and it took me 39 hours. So I have way more experience, and I felt like I was way better trained for Cruel Jewel, and it took me 5 extra hours on top of my Grindstone time. So I would say that if you liked Grindstone, you're going to like Cruel Jewel a lot as well. And there's going to be some things that you like better. It's not like it is an out and back, but there are some extra sections, so it doesn't always feel like it's being repeated. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of climbing and descending. But yeah, it's a good, well-run race. Like I liked it a lot. Theenan says, hi, glad to be catching the later part of the stream. Awesome, glad to have you. Ernie G says, hi, Ryan. It's 4:50 in Athens, Greece. Did you watch the Spartathlon? No, I did not. I kind of heard a little bit about it, though. Looked pretty cool. And then, is there a decent time to finish a moderately difficult 65K trail race? Oh, I don't know. That totally depends on like what race it is, like what vertical gain, like all of that sort of stuff. But I would say, I don't know, like my fastest 50K time was somewhere around like, I think it was like 5 hours and 45 minutes. So I don't know, maybe add on another hour or so to that, and that would be a pretty decent time for a 65K. Maybe an hour and a half, something like that. But yeah. So, all right. Well, we're getting close to an hour, so I'm going to start wrapping up here. Let me know if you have any last minute questions or anything. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. As far as, so I did want to talk about, like, I've got in the videos coming out over the next couple of days, we'll talk a lot more about like nutrition and stuff, but I feel like I kind of have it dialed in. I'm going to be using the most expensive gels in the world, unfortunately. The Martin, I don't know how you say them. They just work for me. They work really well in training. I've got a bunch of them. I spent like too much money on them, but they work really well. They're like, I forget what you call it. They're like hydrolyzed gels or something like that. So they're pretty much as soon as you take it, it just disappears into your body. It feels like you just took a sip of water. So it's like perfect. I love them. As far as and I tried a bunch of others. Like I went to thefeed.com, not sponsored, but actually really like the website a lot, because you can buy like individual gels off the internet, which I've never like heard of. The only other place that you can do that I know of is like a running store. And John, I just saw your comment, number 32 to drop. No way, that's not happening. I'm going to ban you from the channel. No way. So yeah, so thefeed.com, I ordered a bunch of different brands of gels and everything, tried a ton of different ones. And unfortunately or fortunately, I've realized that these pretty expensive ones work for me. So that's what I'm going to use. And then in my bottle, I'm going to have, right now, the plan is to have UCAN and maybe a mixture of some Tailwind from the beginning, just so that I'm getting kind of like a mix of fuel sources, so that if like one stops working, or like I really, like if say my bottle, I'm just going to have one handheld for the whole race, tentatively. But so like say that quits working, like, and I just need to be drinking water instead, like hopefully I can still rely on the gels, or, if I'm starting with both from the beginning and the gels quit working, I can lean more into the UCAN and put some extra calories in the bottle with Tailwind. Or I also, Chad, viewer from the channel, sent me some Morton drink mix, which was awesome. Thank you so much. So I might be using that as well. So I have a couple different options as far as like start with drink mix and gels. And if one of them stops working, I'll be able to lean into the other, hopefully. And then have some solid food. Like I have been working on using like actual fruit that you can find at aid stations, like watermelon and cantaloupe. I've been practicing with, which has been working well. And then just have some other salty stuff, like some chips and stuff, with my crew that I can rely on as well. So I have I'm feeling okay about nutrition. And that's something that I've struggled with at all my races. And I think a lot of people do. But me specifically, I just feel like halfway through my last couple hundreds, I just have to kind of completely give up on my plan. And that's always been frustrating, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I haven't been really putting in the effort to practice it during my training. That a lot of times I'll go out for runs and I just want to go with nothing. And that's you train everything else. So why not? Why have I not been training what my nutrition is going to be? So been really working on that, training the gut, trying to get it used to just being full while I'm running. Just drinking a lot, eating a lot. Even on 4-mile runs, I've been taking a gel every time, halfway through, which is it just feels to me like a waste of money. But the point is to train well. Jeff Del Rio says, how do they taste? The Morton gels taste like almost nothing. They're the consistency of jelly, which was a surprise at first, but actually really nice, because they're not as messy as some can be. But the flavor is so mild, it almost has no flavor, just a little bit of sweetness, but it's really nice. Peter Todd says, do you complement your running with leg strength exercises? I find I need to do more, and it seems to prevent injuries. From Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, I do. Not very often. I do about maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. I'll do some leg, just body weight exercises. But I found that trail running in general, and especially if you're running a lot of hills, can supplement a lot of that for you. Not, and I wouldn't recommend that, but you can kind of get away with it without doing a whole lot of leg strength if you're running a lot of trails. But at the same time, if you are doing a lot of trails, you probably should be working on some different leg strength exercises to avoid injury. Ultra Dad says there's a reason Cruel Jewel has an extra 10 hours for the cutoff time. It destroyed me all 30 miles. Yeah. So the cutoff for Cruel Jewel, what is it? 48 hours? I think so. I think the cutoff for Grindstone was 38. Yeah. But man, oh my gosh, we haven't done a buckle cam. We got to do a buckle cam. So here we go. This is the buckle cam. But yeah, that Cruel Jewel buckle in the back is right now, that's the one that I'm the most proud of, honestly, because it took the most amount of work. Some of the others, I'm proud of them all, but that Cruel Jewel buckle, wow, it took a lot of work to get that buckle. Regitoni Baloney, I hope I'm saying that right, says, good morning from the other side of the world. Quick question. Sorry if you've already answered. How do you balance work, in particular when training for a long run? That is a very hard thing to do. And I think a lot of people, I think it's really hard to get right. For me, I am blessed with the opportunity to work from home right now. So I am able to run probably at different times than a lot of people. I run during lunch, which really works for me. So I don't miss family time, except on the weekends. I do. That is difficult. On the weekends, it's very difficult to go out for a 5-hour run on a Saturday and miss stuff So it's just kind of like, you just kind of have to, like, you have to communicate and you have to make sure that everyone's on board for that. But yeah, it's difficult. But if you can find time to run that is like where you're, like maybe where your family is not at home, like they're at school or whatever, like that's a good time for me. That's what's worked. Aaron says, my wife thinks I'm nuts when I take the last bite of full dinner and then head out the door for a run or two. Works for me. Yeah, that's a really great way to train your gut too. Jeff Del Real says, buckle cam. Yeah, we got it in there. Aaron Wagner, buckle cam reminds me, IT100 doesn't have a sub 24 buckle, does it? I think it does. And I don't know. I think it does. I think it does look different. But I don't know. I don't know if last year they got rid of it or something happened with last year's buckle, and I'm not remembering exactly what it was. Maybe it was, I think it was like smaller or something. Something happened last year, and maybe it was like a new, because a lot of these races, what I would guess happens is that they order like hundreds of buckles to be made, and then they can use them for a few years. So I don't know if like maybe last year IT100 like had a new supplier or something, because the buckle looked different and it was a little bit different. But yeah, John Truelove confirms IT100 does have a special buckle for sub 24. So that's some motivation for you, Aaron. You and me both. John too. Too bad they don't have a sub 20 hour buckle, John. That's too bad. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's where we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Thanks for joining. Thank you, everyone that stuck around, asked questions, and had some good conversation topics tonight. We've got 11 days until IT100. If any of you guys are going to be there, reach out beforehand. Let me know. Maybe we can like meet up on like Friday at Pack Up Pickup or Saturday right before the race, something like that. That'd be fun. Also, if you're just going to be there spectating and you're going to have a camera, like a cell phone or anything like that, let me know. It'd be fun to include some video from you in the YouTube video that eventually comes out on this race. So, all right, guys, that's it. Thanks. I forgot to mention, we got hats in the merch store now. RyanClayton.shop. Check those out. They've been selling a lot. The black hat is sold out right now. I just got an email last night that said that they're refilling their supply. But there's a charcoal color, there's a white and blue, and there's a royal blue option right now. But yeah, they are going fast. So thank you everyone that has picked one up. They'll be sporting a hat at the IT100. Can't wait to see a bunch of them. So that's it for now. Thank you guys that have been listening to the live show, chiming in, asking questions. Thank you to those of you that have watched the replay just now, and thank you to those of you that are listening to the podcast right now. Yeah, this has been an awesome, like, I'm just like so excited for IT100 to finally be here. We'll have one more live show before the actual race, and then it's game time. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.